It has been a long road and full of challenges. Being bilingual on graduation day has been one of my greatest achievements because I now have the tool set to go on reaching all the objectives I might set for myself in the future. A world of opportunities opened up to me when I started studying with Richmond Solution. I was really able to learn autonomously. I could study at home, in the library, or in the classroom. I could dive into the book, or by being connected to the internet, I could explore fascinating activities that empowered my English skills. I was able to instantly access the answers as they were only a click away. I loved working in a team. My friends and I had great fun as we learned. I learned a lot from them, and I know that they learned something from me. The exams were always challenging, but thanks to the practice that was constantly available on the digital platforms, we were fully up to speed to meet these challenges. I am really going to miss my school.
Richmond Solution helped us hugely to transform the English program in our school. We have now got the best tools to guarantee the best learning. Let me show you. Part of the process gives us access to a coach who builds our confidence, as well as training courses to better our abilities and to continue our improvement. Yes, good teachers are always keen to learn more. As we live in the cloud, as we say in this connected world, we have digital resources to improve our classes and which allow our students to learn from anywhere in the world, even quite literally in the clouds if they are on board an airplane. Through the Richmond Test Manager and Learning Analytics, we have a variety of possibilities to test, validate, and monitor students' progress. It is amazing to be able to see how your students are learning and to have the evidence of their learning at your fingertips. This really does make us very happy indeed. Richmond Solution is a solution designed for you.
Good afternoon and welcome to this new Richmond webinar. My name is Mateo Gomez Alcalá. I am an academic consultant from Richmond, Santillana. And today I'll be with my dear colleague, Angelica Niño, talking about in-class flip and gamification. Angelica, hello, how are you?
Hi, Mateo. Well, happy to be here today with you. And let's start.
Well, before that, please let us know the name of the school or the university where you currently work, right? Remember, we encourage you to participate through the chat. My colleague Angelica will be really attentive to your thoughts, ideas, and comments, right? So feel free to participate throughout the webinar, okay? We really hope that you enjoy this academic space as we do as delivering, right? The first thing that we will do is we will introduce the agenda of today's session. So could you please, Angelica, help us out with this?
Well, of course, we have a very interesting agenda for today. We're going to start with what do we know about flipped learning in order to contextualize the topic. We're going to talk about the benefits and challenges of flipped learning. Then we're going to talk about in-class flip. That's a new concept that we're going to develop today. Then we're going to go into game-based learning, gamification, key aspects for gamification. Then we're going to link in-class flip with gamification. And finally, we're going to tell you why should we gamify.
All right. I don't know if we could check the comments, if our audience is there with us. I say hi, of course, before we get started. Well, Angelica, the first, I don't know, do you see any comment yet there?
Well, we have the Elena Cardenales. She says, hi. Hi, Elena. How are you? There we have some other comments. People is just maybe they're kind of shy. They're getting into the...
Okay, yeah. We encourage you to be active learners, okay? So all our sessions are like that. So just please feel free to participate at all times, okay? Well, moving forward, we have this big question, Angelica.
Exactly. We want to start asking you, the audience, right? What do we know about flipped learning? So we want you to tell us, what do you know about flipped learning? We know it's a new concept. It's a new, it's something new for most of us, but I want you to tell us or to mention on the comments keywords or key aspects about it, things that you think are representative from flipped learning. So feel free to write whatever you think flipped learning is related to. So let's see, we have the teacher. Let's see. Okay, so not just teachers, right? Today we don't have just teachers. So
it says, Angelica, for instance, well, Sergio from Liceo Nueva Generación in Barranca Bermeja. We say hi to you, and also Sinue Vélez, Liceo de Grave. Welcome to today's session. We really hope you enjoy the session, you find it meaningful, because that's one of the key objectives, okay, of this academic space. Well, as Angelica told you, please let us know, with your comments, anything you know about flipped learning, right? I don't know, have you heard about flipped learning before, or is this like the very first time that you heard? Oh, here we have Sinue Vélez from Tunja. Well, hope Sinue. And here we have one comment. This is Carolina Valle. She says, "Well, hi everyone. My name is Carolina Valle. I teach in Ana Julia Holguín, the Hurtado School in Candelaria, Valle del Cauca." Well, welcome, Carolina. Right, and here we have our first reaction to this big question that you made, Angelica. This is from teacher Marta Salguero. She says, a new way to see our students as the center of the learning process. What do you think about that comment?
Okay, I really like it. I really like because it's definitely the essence of flip learning. So, Mateo, if you want to, well, we can help teachers maybe to get into context and to tell them what to give them a general view on flip learning.
Right, very good.
Perfect. So, flip learning is a pedagogical approach in which direct instruction shifts to individual learning, transforming the group space in a dynamic and interactive learning environment.
Mm-hmm.
And it has 4 pillars. We're talking about flexible environment, learning culture, intentional content, and a professional educator. It began in 2012 when Aaron Sams and John Berman were trying to help students that were missing classes. So they thought, okay, what can we do if they're not attending classes? How can we just level them up with our other students? Then they developed these. And if you see, there are 3 simple stages to flip a class. So the first one, we talk about generate curiosity. So I think it's something that we have to do in every different approach, not just with flip learning, but if the students are curious about what they're going to learn, they're going to learn it better, right?
Right.
Then flip the class. When we talk about flipping the class, we're not just talking about like flipping the whole content. You don't have to send everything home. You just need to select the content that you want to flip. You can flip a lesson, so send a video home. Students are going to watch that video related to maybe the parts of the body, have an activity to practice that, and then when they are ready and when at home they have practiced, then we have stage number 3, that is apply and understand the content. This is very important, Mateo, because I don't know if you have noticed that most of the programs at schools, they are written using the following verbs. The student identifies, understands, remembers. So we're not taking them to the higher order thinking skills, right? With these, they do that in the classroom, right? So we're taking them to use the higher order thinking skills in the classroom, right?
Perfect.
There's an option for flip learning, that is in-class flip, is an option in case the content cannot be sent home as homework, but we're going to go deeper in that term later on, right? So
okay,
that's the general idea on flip learning.
Okay, thank you very much, Angelica. I think it was really clear in explanation. I want to talk about some of the benefits of a flipped learning approach. Here we say, for instance, that flipped learning fosters active learning. Yeah. So, which means that activities, or most of activities we carry out during class time, are student-centered activities. Therefore, our students will find much more appealing, interesting, and meaningful tasks for them to perform and to carry out. One of the greatest things about flipped learning approach is that also we provide students with a space for them to learn at their own pace. So this is really, really great about this approach, as well as the fact that we create, let's say, stronger and solid bonds with our students, since we start having much more individualized conversations, since the role as teachers in a flipped classroom basically is to be a facilitator and a guide. Yeah, so we always have to be let's say we always have to constant feedback and assist our students related to all the needs that they have during the performance of their activities, no? So these are some of the benefits, but we consider that they are like the main ones, okay, for us to mention. There are much more, Angelica. You know that there are tons of different benefits related to the flipped learning approach. But then, of course, as any approach, there are benefits and also challenges, right? Angelica, what can you tell us here about these challenges?
Okay, so we're going to mention 3 big challenges. We're going to start with motivation. Motivation is a challenge in every kind of class, Mateo. I think it's not just a challenge for using flip classroom, but also using any kind of methodology, right?
Yeah.
So when we think about motivating our students, we're not thinking about the brilliant students that we have in class, because we had some outstanding students, and we have others that they struggle with our subject, right? So that's the ones that we think when we bring the concept motivation into. So they are thinking sometimes, okay, this class is so boring, this class is pointless, this is so hard, I don't understand. So we need to be sympathetic with our students. And then I know people from the audience, they have been in this situation when, you wanted to either leave a class, or you were so uncomfortable that you didn't want the teacher to notice you were there, right? Because you felt like you were not in the same level with other students. And I know you have felt this way, right? Yeah. So it means that when students are not comfortable in class, they're going to emerge some feelings of rejection or evasion, right? Yeah. So that's how flip learning can help you, because if they study at home, right? If at home they're going to practice, they're going to watch video, they're going to feel like it is meaningful. Then when they get to the classroom, they're going to feel they're like in the same level as their other students. So it's going to make them feel better, empower them, right? And then they're going to learn in a more meaningful way. Yeah. Then we have autonomous work, and Mateo, it is totally linked with motivation, right? Sure. If they feel what they're doing is worth it, then they're going to start working in an autonomous way. But if they are not motivated, then of course, autonomous work is going to be just something difficult for them to do. And finally, another challenge that we have is planning time. When we talk about planning time, teachers think, okay, if I'm going to flip a class, I need a lot of time because I need to create a video, and then I need to create a game, and then no, it's not necessary, right? It takes the same amount of time that it takes you to create a regular lesson. So it's not like you're going to invest your whole weekend flipping a lesson. No, you can use material that is already there. You can use videos from YouTube. You can use PowerPoints. You can use flashcards. So it's okay to use something that is there, but it's important that it is suitable, or that it matches the lesson that you're trying to teach, right? Something here, Mateo, that is important, and I think is linked with what you're going to say next, is the time during the class. So sometimes we think like, okay, now it takes me some time to plan my activities, but what am I going to do in class? Or you need to be also realistic on the resources of your students. So how can we deal with that?
Yes, Angelica. Well, here's what we want to, let's say, introduce our dear audience to this modified version of Flip classroom model, which is called in-class Flip. So according to what you explained in terms of Flip learning, let's say the standard Flip learning approach, basically we move the direct instruction outside the class, so that our students have their own individual learning space, right? But this modified version of in-class Flip is basically everything happens in class, you see? So here in-class Flip allows us to dynamize much more the learning experience of our students, right? In synchronous moments, for instance, right? How do we do this? What is this about? Basically, instead of moving outside the class, the direct instruction, I will structure my class in stations, where one of those stations will be these learning stations where I basically exposed my students to the flipped material, right? So, therefore, I don't need to assign any content outside class time. Yes, this is one of the advantages of this modified version of Flip learning, right? Another really great thing about in-class Flip is that, the level of commitment in your students in terms of participation and curiosity about what is next, no, inside the class is something that you can tell. As I told you before, one of the ideal ways for you to integrate in class flip is through stations. So the amount of stations and the types of activities you develop inside each station depends, of course, directly on what the teacher basically plans, right? However, there should be like some. I will suggest to integrate some stations, such as what I call the learning station, and this is one of the initial stations where I basically guide my students into this station for them to be exposed to a certain type of information that I need them to prepare so that they can participate in the rest of the stations, right? There should be also a backup station, right? Just in case that a student needs to go back and have access again to the flip material. Well, in the class, he can go to that station and review or rewatch a video lecture, etc., and they go back and participate in another station. Now, in terms of one of the greatest things about in class flip is that you can find different dynamics inside the same class, right? So my students could find one station where they have to interact with one classmate or a complete group in order for them to come up with one solution to a certain type of problem, presented in class, right? But also this learning station is key because here's where we provide our students with a space where they can learn at their own rhythm, at their own pace. Okay, so it's key factor. Therefore, that's why we say that in-class flip is a really great alternative, right? This is a modified version of flip learning approach, which basically is a really great alternative for teachers that normally work in schools who are not that flexible in terms of homework policies. Yes, so as teacher, you are not allowed to leave homework. So this is a great way because they will do everything inside in class time, you see. So the key thing here, remember that is class time should be devoted or is devoted to active learning. Yes, that is the key thing. If you're a teacher that is in charge or works with elementary and primary students who struggle with, let's say, autonomous work, or basically they tend more to follow instructions and to see the teacher, etc. This is a really great version of flipped learning where you actually guide them through the way that they should access to the flipped material, then how they can, it's a really great version for you to control a lot of aspects of a flipped classroom model, okay? The same with, sometimes we have these groups of students where not all of them are allowed to have access for some reason to electronic devices. So it means that they are not able or they won't be able to access to the flipped material if I follow a standard flipped classroom model, right? So by integrating class flip, I basically provide them with the resources, right, for them to access to that content, to that flip material. Therefore, of course, as I told you before, in class flip, since it's divided into stations, it's a really great way for you to basically dynamize the learning experience of your students inside the class, right? Now, once we have just covered in class flip, right? But there are other two other definitions that we observe. Sometimes they are at first sight they are real close in meaning. However, they are you will find them quite different. In terms of things and aspects that we will mention later, right? Which are, of course, game-based learning and gamification, right? And here I know, Angelica, that you have a big question for our dear students and our dear teachers and, everybody that is here in our audience today, right?
Okay.
So the question, let me see here.
Thank you. Yes, of course. The idea is that we want to clarify to see what's the difference between game-based learning versus gamification. We're going to have an activity next. I would love the audience to answer this question.
Yeah.
It's very easy. You just have to say A or B. Okay. So the question is, which of the following elements belong to GBL? To game-based learning. So we have on the first one, on A, we have Pictionary, Cranium. Those are very common Christmas presents, right? And then we have Hangman. And I know we all have played Hangman. And then on B, we have on option B, we have coins, badges. There is someone like on a stair. It seems to be like he's leveling up these displays, and we have a dragon. Maybe it is related to some like an epic adventure or something like this. So what you have to do is very simple. Tell us A or B. Just that's what you have to answer. Which of the following elements belong to GBL? So let's see.
Let's see. Okay.
Well, like not just teachers. You're used to say teachers, and now
our audience. Yes, I know that we have perfect. Here we have well, Angelica. I don't know. Well, Jamile Burbano Sanchez says that is A. Yes, like the GBL. I mean, the group A is the one that belongs to GBL.
Okay, thank you, Jamile, for your participation. Well, let's see, like, if she was wrong or right. Okay.
Okay, perfect. So let me see. Let's go here.
I see.
If we have any other reaction, yeah. I mean, Marta Salguero says A. Bolaños Esther also says A.
Okay, very good.
So option B.
It means they have kind of an idea, right? Maybe they have an idea on what GBL is, or maybe they have worked with GBL before. So that's nice. That's
right.
Nice. It's nice they are participating too.
Great. All right. So let's see here. Now, Angelica, can you tell us, I mean, like the official definition of game-based learning, please?
Okay. So game-based learning is a methodology that uses existing games to learn through them. Thus, the game becomes the vehicle for strengthening some concepts. It is not just creating games for students to play. It is designing learn activities that can introduce concepts and guide users towards an end goal. That's game-based learning.
Perfect. Very good. All right. Thank you. And you have some activities for our audience.
I want to invite our audience to do this activity. Is very, very easy. What you have to do, Mateo, actually, I dare you to
my
try.
God. Okay.
So what you have to do is that you have to look at the chart and say the color, not the word.
Say the color, not the word.
Oh my God.
Okay, I will try to do it like in lines. Let's see. Where do I go? So it says, okay, it will be green, red, blue, yellow, red, black, red, blue, green, black, red, yellow, green, blue, black, blue, red, green. Oh my, well. Okay. But you know what? It was challenging, you know. It was challenging.
It is. Okay.
All right. So, but I can see something here. So, basically, all this type of, I mean, game-based learning. Then, according to what you explained, aims also to activate some type of cognitive process, right? In the player, in the user, in this case, in the student. Right? Exactly. All right. And I have also a game for you and for the audience, of course. Well, you have these pictures, you have some elements there, and I ask you, Angelica, how many ice cream cones can you find in this image? How many ice cream cones? And of course, this is a question also for our audience. Let's see. Remember, these type of games, they should be really fast. Right? So just 15 seconds. Try to look for the ice cream cones.
Okay.
Let's see if our audience are okay.
I think there are 6.
6. Okay. Yes. All right. Let's see. 6. Okay. Well, let's see if it's right, your answer.
I think so.
Yeah, look, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Very good.
Yeah, very good. Erika, you're really good at this. All right, and then here we have like types of game-based learning. So can you explain what is this about?
Yes. Well, Mateo, just as there are different kinds of books in a library, right? We have comic books, we have novels, depending on like the likes or dislikes of the reader. Then we also have different types of games, to use during the class, right? Yeah. So the first category that we have, there are some games that are created purely with the aim of entertaining and that have academic content. If the audience, maybe if they have access to our RLP, the platform that we use in Richmond, they will see that there is an icon on top of the page that is play. If they click on that icon, they're going to find some games that were designed with the purpose of teaching some vocabulary, right? So the students are going to be playing, but they're going to be learning at the same time. So these kind of games, they belong to our first group. Then on our second group, we have some games that are, they can be modified with the purpose of achieving some academic goal. We have, for example, Monopoly or Risk. With Risk, you can teach students geography, yes. With Monopoly, you can teach your students the parts of the city, for example, or you can teach them how to handle money. So those belong to the second group. And finally, we have the new games that can be designed and created from scratch, right? You can use editing tools such as quizzes or Kahoot. It means if you have already, delivered the instruction or you have already delivered the content, then you can use these activities to evaluate. I like this because it gives them immediate feedback, for example, to your students, and you're going to be engaged with the process of evaluation. So I really like those games.
Great. Okay, well, so far here we have a definition of game-based learning, types of game-based learning, and some examples. Now we will see what is gamification. Okay, for the purpose of that, what we'll do first is I will show you a really brief video, and let me give you some context or prior context about it. Basically, this was a social, let's say, experiment that Volkswagen developed and carried out in Stockholm in a subway station, right? So they posed the following question: Can we get more people to choose the stairs by making it fun to do? Yeah, so they have this challenge on how could they encourage regular pedestrians and people passing by to use a regular stair instead of the escalators, instead of the mechanic stairs. So let's see, what did they do? So they started, doing some let's say, they transformed the regular stair into this big piano, right? With sound included, actually. So they laid this big piano some weeks there, and they started noticing, of course, that people started using much more this big piano in the regular stair. Yeah, and they look at this amazing outcome. They got 66% more people, using the regular stair over the escalator, right? And look, then they got this. This is like the result there. People loved it. All right.
It looks
at the end, it says fun can obviously change behavior, right, for the better. You see, so and this is what gamification is all about. So basically, it's a strategy that uses elements of games in environments that originally or a priori are not playful, in order to increase motivation of the participants, right? So again, this is another strategy that we could integrate into our classes in order for us to boost students' motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. So we want to share with you some key aspects in order for us to gamify exercises or even a complete class. See? So we have objectives, narrative, elements, mechanics, and dynamics. Angelica, what can you tell us about objectives?
Well, this is like the core of these mechanics, right? That's like the idea, and we start from here.
Yeah.
But sometimes we think, okay, I need to set new objectives, I need to create a new content, and no, it's not necessary. You can take and you can use the objectives that you have at school. It is not necessary to change everything that you are using, right? We're not going to change the destination, Mateo, but what we're going to change is the journey, right? We're going to take them there, like in a funnier way, in a that's in a different way, and maybe we can get there faster.
Yeah, of course. Perfect. And then we get the second aspect, which is related to the narrative. And basically here, by using narrative, we want to, I would say, trigger our students' curiosity and engagement. I would say the level of engagement. Here we want our students to be engaged with the gamified activity, exercise, or class. Here is where we should integrate elements such as the description of the place, the description of the personality of some characters, give them some type of mysterious aspects or ideas there, no, for them to wake up a little bit or to activate their curiosity. You see, so it's really important that aspect as well. And then of course then you have the elements, right? Angelica, what can you tell us about the elements?
Well, when we talk about the elements, we have things like rewards, coins, medals, acknowledgement, right? Like the world that you can level up. Yeah. So what is the purpose of these elements, right? We're going to use extrinsic rewards such as levels or points or coins or badges, and it's going to improve engagement while striving to raise feelings of achieving mastery, autonomy, sense of belonging, and other more that are going to help our students to get to the goal, right?
Okay.
So if you see, we're going to use these elements to motivate our students to engage them. So I think that's like the big point here. And I would like to talk about that acknowledgement is something that maybe sometimes we don't know do in classes, right? Yeah. We're not used to do that. It's like, okay, you have to study and that's what you have to do because that's why you're here at school. But that's not true, right? It's like you teachers when you're working. You like to be acknowledged, right? You like to be told, okay, you did it well. Thanks for your effort. I mean, you're trying hard. You like that. As if we enjoy that. Can you imagine kids at school? So acknowledgement is very important. I think, and I heard this, that is a better motivation than money, right? Because you're making our students feel important. They are important for the class. They are important for us and then for the whole group. So I think these elements are something that is going to help us dealing with the core thing here. That's motivation, right?
Yeah, of course. And then we get the mechanics, Angelica, and here's like the what and sometimes the how, right? Like, well, what are the rules of the gamified activity? What are the objectives? What do I have to do if I want to go into the next level, or if I want to continue to the next stage, right? What are the boundaries, right? So also this is another really great. As long as they are clear enough for our students, every aspect should work like really well. is something that we need to like take into consideration, like to be really clear and concise in terms of the instructions, right? The rules in this case, no, in terms of mechanics. And finally, Angelica, we have the dynamics, right?
Yes, Mateo, when we talk about the dynamics, we have like, okay, listening, participation, effort, altruism, but like the idea on the dynamics is like how is that a group is going to, what are they going to do with the things that we mentioned before? So the dynamics is going to vary from group to group, right? It's not the same even when I have, I don't know, 20 students in this class and 20 students in the other, and I have the same elements, the same narrative, and the same mechanics. The dynamic is going to change, yes? They're going to develop some social skills, right? Like participation. They're going to make alliances. Maybe we can have all this set up, and with one class is going to be a total success, but with the other, maybe it's not going to be like that. So it's very important to take that into account, because based on that, we have to adapt and we have to modify what we mentioned before, right? So the dynamic is going to be this stage that is going to help us developing certain, well, not us, but also students, certain social skills. Okay, so this is like everything related to the dynamic, yes, of course, of the class, of the group. They are going to, how is that they're going to behave based on the previous things that we asked, that we mentioned.
Perfect. And then here, well, we got the 5 aspects, like the objectives, narrative, elements, mechanics, and dynamics. Now we want to exemplify this, right? And we will do that. Can you please tell us a little bit about this first step?
Of course, Mateo. So teachers, if you have the chance and if you see, there we have like kind of a forum. This is because, well, we're using the Richmond learning platform, and this is how you can give the instruction. So in this case, for example, you can text on the write on the forum, okay, you're going to go to this link, you're going to click there, you're going to sign in as a student, you're going to complete the questions, and then you're going to finish the activity, right?
Exactly.
So it's important to have or to deliver the instruction in a right way, so the students, they know what is exactly what they have to do, right? If you're doing it in class, well, they're going to have access to this in their classes, but the instruction is very important when it comes to flipping our lessons.
Perfect. And then dear audience, imagine that, well, I want my students to be exposed to material about the flipped classroom model, right? I imagine that I am going to integrate in class flip. So in this first learning station, I will guide my students to a gamified activity for them to be exposed to that material. So how do I do that? Well, here's where I will just go.
Okay, Mateo, meanwhile, I would like to say hi to Yamile Urbano, to Esther Bolaños, to Angeli Joana Tobasia, our friend Christian Correa, Betty Arzuaga. Thank you all for being here today with us.
Thank you very much, dear audience. You are always so faithful. So again, as I was telling you before, we prepared this gamified activity so that our students are exposed to a certain type of content related to the flipped classroom model. As you can see, once they get into the RLP forum, they click in the link, and they click on the link, and they go right away into this world, this map, the wonderful world of flipped classroom. And here we can observe all the key aspects that we mentioned before, integrated in one activity. Remember that this will be the learning station, which won't take you more than 10 to 15 minutes, all right? So once they click here, they will find, for instance, this is the warrior of the wonderful world of flipped learning. And it says, welcome. In this world, you will learn about the flipped classroom model and its features. explore the path, complete each stage on it, go to the next one, accumulate points, and have fun. So here's part of the narrative, right? That takes the student into the world and into the experience. So here the students first stage, which contains a video related to the flipped classroom model, and then they have to answer a question, right? Once they have done this, of course, in each station, they will accumulate points, right? And that depends if the answer is right or if the answer is wrong. And then they go into this pathway, and then they go into the second stage, which is a reading stage. They will read about the 4 pillars of flipped learning, and they go and continue into the third stage, where they have to match the definitions with the names of the pillars of flipped learning. And finally, they have to type some key words that they remember from this from the wonderful world of flipped classroom, right? And then at the end, they will find again the character, the warrior here, and well, he says, "You have successfully completed all stages of the path in the wonderful world of the flipped classroom. You have earned 100 coins to be used in the next world." So actually, I could use another type of template, and I could create a second station. Let's call it a production station, yeah, where I could ask to apply the knowledge that they just have read or that they have just watched, right? For them to perform any other type of activities. So let me go. In the meantime, let me go back into the main presentation.
Mateo, I have a question.
You have a question?
Did you have to create all that content? I mean, you created everything?
Not at all. Not at all. No. This. I mean, with this external tool, I used some templates. Yeah. So they are. I mean, you can find those templates there. Pre-made templates, I would say. All the elements are already there, and in terms of the content of the flipped classroom, I used also some external resources, such as YouTube videos or PDF material that I had before. I just simply integrated everything into this wonderful world of the flipped classroom. Right?
So it's not as difficult as it seems.
It is not as difficult as it seems. No, but what is great about is that imagine that I need my students to. Let's say that I need my students to use this content, right? And to be exposed to this content. And imagine that I just simply send a PDF file through an email, and please read it, or please watch the video. Yes, it's not the same if they go inside a gamified activity where they have to earn points and they start like competing with each other, you know. But of course, in a healthy academic competition, of course. But the idea here is boost motivation, you see, and level of commitment. Yeah. Therefore, well, Angelica, tell us, please, why should we gamify?
Okay, before saying that, I want well, we just sent a form for a survey, a link for a survey. We would love our audience to click there and to answer the survey. The idea is, you know, to get better for you every time. So just to learn, to grow. So we invite you to click on the link and answer the survey, right? So
thank you.
Now, going back to what we were talking, then why should we gamify? I know we have repeated this like 100 times, but it's just that we want to convince the audience that this is something good to do. It increases intrinsic and extrinsic motivation, right? With the budgets, with everything. And I want the audience to think, and you, Mateo, I want you to think, how did you feel the last time that you played a game with your family or your friends?
Happy, I will say. happy and fulfilled somehow.
Exactly. So who made you think that learning was boring?
Well, different experiences.
You
probably.
See?
Yeah.
So we have that in our mind, right? We have to change our mindset and stop thinking that learning is boring. Not at all, right? It's not boring. And in this way, also teachers are going to be motivated. If teachers are having fun in class, well, they're going to enjoy even more their jobs, right? It fosters autonomous work through some kind of reward. As I tell you, maybe the reward, it could be an emotion. Not just like the grade or the budget. And something that I really like about gamifying is that when we talk about evaluation, for example, Mateo, we usually, I don't know, back in my time, used to give you a quiz and you had to wait 1 week and then receive the results, right? Yeah. And if you failed, it was like, oh my God. Yeah, you felt like, yeah. Now, when we gamify, it changed, right? I mean, you have immediate feedback, and if you didn't succeed, you can just try again and try again and try again. Because why can we? I mean, I don't understand that, and why is it that on real life we can fail just once, but when you're playing, you can do it again and again. So I think we're also teaching our students that failing is part of the process, and it's okay. It's okay. Perfect. It provides more meaningful learning space for students, of course, because as I told you before, we're going to talk about the not just identifying, remembering, but students can do something with all that knowledge that they have acquired, right? They can practice, they can create something, so it's going to be meaningful for them. And finally, it increases the level of commitment to participate and complete assignments. Of course, if you're going to have fun with your classmates, I mean, that's a class I would love to attend, right? Where you have where you can have fun. So it's not just about, and we have to change our mindset. That is not just, okay, go to the class, listen to the teacher, take notes, answer a quiz. If you failed, study, and then try again. I mean, we have to change our mindset, and education is not like that right now.
It's not like that at all. No, not at all.
We're teaching different people. Yes, maybe we didn't like the way we learned. So why are we teaching that way?
Exactly. Those are really great questions and deep questions that we should be always asking ourselves, or how can we always improve things, no? The pedagogical practices that we tend normally to do. And I have something for you, Angelic, which is a game. This is a game for us to basically recycle what we have just exposed here in this new Richmond webinar. So I also invite the audience to participate. What I will do here is I will stop sharing the screen again, and I will.
I just want to make a comment, and please, dear audience, remember that there you have the link for our survey. It's very important for us that you can answer that, because it's going to help us, as I told you before, to get better, to be better every time.
Thank you, Angelica. And here, well, we have this universe of in-class flip and gamification, all right? So we're going to enter there. There are 5 aliens. You have to eliminate aliens in order for you to get into the next level. And how you do that? Well, you have to give me the right answer, right? So here I invite also the audience to participate. You can type the complete answer or simply the number, okay? So the first question, Angelica, for you is, what is flipped learning? A pedagogical approach, a direct instruction, or the individual learning space? What do you think?
Number 1, a pedagogical approach.
Let's see if you will. Yeah, got it. You got it right now. Second level, it says some of the benefits of the flipped learning are improvement of multiple patterns of interaction, more meaningful learning experiences, all the above.
All the above.
Perfect. Let's see. I have this one could be tricky, Angelica. Please focus. The GVL is a methodology, the name of a game, a new alphabet.
Is number 1, I'm sure.
Gamification consists of collecting games, using game elements in non-playful settings, using games already created to learn from them.
Is number 2.
Number 2, let's see.
Using game elements in non-playful settings.
Great. Now we have 1 alien left. This is level 5. The key aspects of gamification are, and here you have tricky words. So 1, 2, 3. What you see? What you say? So remember, this is related with the key aspects of gamification, right? So
Mateo, I have to say that's It's just that I'm kind of blind, but I have to say that's number 3 for sure.
For sure. Yeah, it is. Yeah, congratulations. You got it right. Very good. And I hope the audience also got the answers right. Let me just.
Mateo, which tool did you use to create that game? I liked it.
Oh, okay. This one is called Genially. Yeah.
Mhm.
Some of our teachers probably knows it already. Let me just go back
Nice.
into presentation just to wrap up our webinar. Yeah, today's session. So first off, Angelica, well, and dear audience, I want to tell you that flipped learning can be integrated and implemented in different ways. And here, what we mean is you can either follow the traditional flipped learning model where you contemplate synchronous activities and synchronous sessions, right? And what is great, or you could basically integrate this modified version of flipped learning, which is in class flip, where everything happens in class, even the individual learning space. And one of the greatest things of, for instance, flipped learning is that it's scalable, which means that you don't have to flip over a complete unit of a book, but you can start with little exercises, elements inside a unit, etc. Right?
Okay. Perfect. Another thing that we can conclude from this is that increasing students' motivation is a powerful tool to enhance learning. Mateo, and I wouldn't say just learning, but teaching, right? I mean,
Sure,
I think as teachers, we are involved with this 100% of the time, right?
Yeah.
So if we are motivated, if we love our classes, if we like what we're doing, it's going to be contagious. And then your students are going to be happy to learn, and they're going to be happy to be in your classes, and you're going to be the teacher who changed their lives.
Yes, and then, gamification, and I will include here, and I will add in class flip, can be and powerful strategies for us to boost commitment and motivation in our students, and the way actually they learn. Yeah, like it's a really great way for us to dynamize their learning experiences, and as you said, our teaching experience as well, I would say. And then finally, we have by flipping and gamifying, students will be much more involved in their own learning processes, right? This is logically something connected with what we have just said.
And I have an extra comment about this one, Mateo, is that usually, and I know this is the truth, and teachers, they usually say, it's just that I don't understand the class of the teacher, right? The teacher is not clear, and they usually blame the teacher, right? I like this because they cannot blame us anymore.
Well, in somehow, I mean, well, of course, yeah, of course, we are more like the role that we should have here is, remember, as facilitators, guides all the time, providing and assisting them like all times. But yeah, I mean, here we teach also the sense of responsibility. So our students are responsible of their own learning process.
Exactly. Totally. So if they didn't understand, or they can repeat the lesson, they can, I mean, it's up to them, right? But it's also when they get to class, they're going to feel more comfortable when they notice that, okay, what I did at home was totally worth it. So
totally. Well, and for us to wrap up, I just want to thank our faithful audience for being with us, like always in our webinars. And well, God bless you all. Thank you, Angelica, as well. For this great space that I shared with you. And I hope you teachers and dear audience find this webinar interesting, okay, and meaningful, which is one of the key things and the purposes of this space.
Totally, Mateo. Thank you very much for being here today. I enjoyed doing this. I had fun. So it's not just about showing some information, but it's about having fun doing what you're doing. So thank you very much. Thank you to all the audience. I hope as Mateo said, I hope you have learned something, and I hope you can put into practice some of the activities or something that we mentioned in our webinar today. So thank you very much to everyone, and well, I hope to see you on the next opportunity.
Yes. Yes, thank you very much, teachers. All right.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.